This cigar is literally wrapped in a tobacco leaf. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Hugo Smokes. I'm your host, Hugo, and today I'm going to be smoking the Leaf by Oscar Valladares in a Broadleaf for 2025, and it is a Honduras Puro, meaning that every leaf is comprised of tobacco from Honduras, even the wrapper, which is of Connecticut Broadleaf variety, but it is grown in Honduras. So, pretty interesting. It seems like for 2025, there's been like a few hybrid cross blends or cross breeding, or I don't know what you want to call it. For example, the Aladino Cuban seed, which is Cuban tobacco planted and grown in Honduras. So pretty interesting. I know Nicaragua's got some tobacco plants like that. But anyway, this cigar here was introduced in this year, 2025. And it is a very limited release consisting of 1,500 boxes of 20 cigars, so 30 cigars total. And based on half wheel, it says it is a one and done deal. The brand of Oscar Valladares originated as a private label, actually, for a store in Pittsburgh called Leaf and Bean. And apparently it was really popular back in 2010. But yeah, it was before I started smoking cigars. So let me go ahead and unravel this beastie of a cigar. Interesting freaking leaf. I'm like, am I supposed to smoke this? No, actually, this is the third Oscar Valladares I have. Wow, just unravels like, man, this leaf is pretty big actually. Look at that, huge. Smells pretty good too. Yeah, the first Oscar Valladares I had was actually the Oscar, which is the greenish type of band. That cigar kicked my butt. I smoked it in a Toro, and then I smoked it in a Corona Gorda, gifted to me by one of my buddies, and it was actually pretty good in a Corona size. So and this is the actual cigar here. Very nice sheen to the wrapper. Very toothy, and actually not toothy, veiny, and a little bit rustic to the touch. So let me go ahead and cut it up and test the draw. Very nice draw. Very earthy. Very nice leather aromas coming off of the wrapper also. Alright, let me go ahead and light it up, and I'll be back for my introduction. Alright, definitely very woody at startup. And on the finish, there is a very fruity note. Plum, berry, raisin, something like that. Almost even chocolatey as well. And then the spice comes into the palate after the smoke goes away. So spice consisting of like, it seems like peppercorn spice, a little bit of like, maybe like a baking spice. We'll see. Alright, let's see what the Retro Hail has to offer. Alright, it's already stinging on the sinus. 6 to 7 clicks out of 10. So medium plus. And the main note on the retro, when you're actually doing the retro, is a very musty leather note, and a secondary woody oak note. Very woody, very leather heavy. And on the finish, it's spicy, and there's a minimal amount like of sweetness lingering on the retrohale sting. So I think I'm gonna have to make some coffee with a lot of sugar so I could balance the cigar out. So let me keep smoking the cigar down past the first third, make some coffee, and I'll be back for my first update. Welcome back at the end of the first third of this Oscar Leaf Broadleaf. And as you can see, the burn line is very wavy, but the ash is nice and stacked. And very surprising turn of events for the cigar, to say the least. Starting with the draw. Into the cigar, a few puffs started to give me a lot of issues with the burn. Seemed like if it was kind of plugged, but I purged it twice, and then I hit it with the single flame around the edge, and now it's working fine. So that's one. The flavor profile on the palate, on the retro, it was just getting way overpowering for me on the spice, the charred notes. I was about to toss it across the yard, but you know, somewhere halfways or even a little bit less, cleaned up nicely. So that harsh peppercorn spice that started off in the beginning turned into a nice coffee chocolate flavor, and then lingering oak spice and a little bit of that, still like that pepper, but very faint. So very nice cigar here at the end of the first third. On the retro, sting diminished. It's now like 1 to 2 clicks out of 10, drastically, right? So now it's floral. There's an oak spice finish and some lingering coffee notes on the retrohale as well. So not a bad cigar. Lost that sweetness from that like plum berry fruity note that I picked up in the beginning, so I don't have anything of that. So now it's just like you know, a little bit on the bold spectrum, but it's nice and balanced. Nothing's overpowering, nothing's off-putting. So now I have hopes for the cigar. Let me continue smoking it past the second third, right below the secondary band, and I will be back for my next update. Welcome back at the end of the second third of this Broadleaf 2025. Check it out. Construction cut up nicely, no touch-ups. Just had to purge it once here in the second third, which is fine. And funny enough, I posted a picture of this cigar in one of my Discord groups, and I said pray for me because, you know, based on my previous experience with these cigars, they haven't been very pleasant to my palate, right? And I got a response saying we're praying for you because it's probably gonna be plugged. And lo and behold, it had a little plug or construction issue, but nonetheless was able to overcome it, which is awesome. And the cigar simmered down quite nicely here in the second third. So again, started off a full-bodied. By the end of the first third, was somewhere in between medium to full, and now it's like medium minus. So it's decrescendoing, if you may, but the notes I'm getting are very pleasant and they conform to my palate, so I'm not complaining right now. So on the palate, floral herbal mix is the main note, and a secondary and underlying tone of cinnamon and anise spice on the finish on the cigar. So if you like those notes, you're gonna love the cigar. On the retro, there's a chalky mineral earth as a main note, but then, you know, it's like alternating between that and like a floralness as well. So every other puff or every third puff, they change. And even that mineral earth is somewhat borderline to like a nice clean nutty note. So that's pretty good. And then floral on the finish, like I mentioned. So the retrohale sting is non-existent here in the second third. Very, very tame. And yeah, I like it. Let's see what the rest of the cigar has to offer. I'll keep smoking this cigar as far as I can, and I will be back for my final update and closing thoughts on this Broadleaf 2025 from Oscar. Welcome back at the end of this Oscar Leaf Broadleaf 2025. and as you can see, The burn line cut up a little bit, still wavy, but the construction is just nice on the cigar. Nice ash standout. And as far as the flavor profile here at the end, so the anise spice took over on the palate, dominating for sure. Not too aggressive, but it's very present. And the smoke is becoming a little bit hot here at the end, so gonna terminate it here about an inch before the cap there. Secondary note is a floral bouquet coming in on the palate as well, and a semi-nutty note on the finish, which is a little bit roasted in my opinion. On the retro, this thing is 3 to 4 clicks out of 10, and it's mainly consisting of a baking spice, cinnamon nutmeg mix, herbal being the dominating note on the retro, and on the finish it's a little bit woody, like an oak type of bouquet. So overall, very, very interesting cigar. Like I said, the first third, I was about to launch it across the yard here at startup, but then it simmered down nicely. Probably the second third is my favorite, and then the last third was pretty good. So the cigar has been burning here for 1 hour and 45 minutes, just shy of the 2 hour mark, right? The MSRP on this cigar is $18. A little bit hefty, for considering on that price range you can get, some Lamper Limitadas. What else? You can get some Avowed cigars, but nonetheless, it's gonna come down to preference. I would put this cigar definitely at least at a 5-pack rating. Very interested to see how this cigar would age with time. Interested to see if that first half inch it will simmer down, because it's very off-putting to say the least. But yeah, the rest of the cigar conformed pretty good to my palate. Not very aggressive at the end here for a morning smoke. Once you get past that initial point, right? And yeah, paired very well with coffee. I ended up making some I think it's like a caramel, I forget what the other mix is on the pot, whatever, but loaded it up with cream so I can off put that charredness from the beginning, right? So that's all I have on this Broadleaf 2025. Again, if you smoked a cigar before, let me know what you think of it. Very interested to know everybody's take on this cigar. As always, don't forget to sub to my channel, Smoking Society Podcast, and check out the Patreon. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.